Welcome to Talent Pop Podcast, where we will provide tips and strategies for success in sales, networking, marketing, and business. We will be learning from real stories that will inspire you to unlock your potential, discover your talents, and develop the confidence to take action on your biggest dreams. We are focused on empowering women to connect their passions with their purpose to find true fulfillment. It's time to pop off, queens! Pop off, queens! Hi, this is Amanda O'Connell. I am co-founder of Recruiter Boom, and this is our very first episode of our podcast, Talent Pop. And we're going to be talking about some really important topics, in the business world, from relationship building, networking, marketing, just so many things. We're going to have so many exciting guests and just really interesting folks that you can learn from and just hear their stories. So it's going to be really collaborative and organic. And this has been something that has been on my heart for a while. It's been something I've always really wanted to do. And, probably one of the topics we're going to be talking about is, overcoming fear and, just being an entrepreneur, and being in business. A lot of, what we do is step out of your comfort zone and really just, attack it, attack your dreams, go after your dreams and get over the fact that things are not going to be perfect, and you're going to learn through the journey. It's an ongoing process, and, everything's a journey. So from, the time that I started my career, straight out of Emerson College, until now, it's a constant growth journey. And that's really what I want this podcast to be focused on, is helping, women or folks in the workplace just grow and collaborate with one another, learn from each other, empower and support one another. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for, being here and listening and being supporters of us. I want to touch on, Recruiter Boom a little bit and what that's all about. So Recruiter Boom is, we're a staffing agency. We're really niche. So we're focused on recruiting recruiters is really what we do. So we work with anybody kind of in the talent acquisition space. So could be, huge brands, fashion companies. We're working with some really exciting companies. Could be other staffing agencies, just anybody that, needs somebody in the talent industry, recruiting industry. So that's really what our specialty is. And right now, Recruiter Boom, I have to say business is definitely booming. The industry is extremely hot. A lot of companies are looking to hire. So we've been getting a lot of calls, and we've been getting a lot of new business, new and exciting clients, and it's been very busy. So we are expanding as a company, and it's been really exciting to see just that constant growth and just, folks reaching out and wondering what we're all about, and, being able to have, those conversations. And just from where we started. So we've been in business 5 years now. We just hit our 5-year anniversary. We've seen a lot of kind of like ups and downs, in the industry, and just like even just starting a business. It's kind of terrifying, but really exciting at the same time. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about that, just like that journey and why we decided to open up Recruiter Boom. So we are, really just like a family, like owned and run company. Our company feels very much like a family. We're pretty small at the moment. We're a startup. So we are, we're growing pretty quickly, especially in this type of market. But we're a family, and it truly does feel that way. And so basically I had, a really scary situation happen in 2016. So just before we launched Recruiter Boom, we had been coming home from family vacation. My son was only 11 months old, and it was just one night I had this horrible seizure. It was like just horrific, and I was out of it, but my husband basically had to deal with everything. So I went through the seizure, and he took me to the hospital, found out I had all these like scans, CAT scans and MRIs and stuff. And they found out that I had a brain tumor, which was terrifying. And it was hard for me to really let that sink in and kind of like, I guess, accept the fact that I had something like that. Cause I had always been healthy. I was really focused on my health. I'm like definitely somebody that, takes, is all about taking care of myself and fitness. I do some like fitness coaching and stuff on the side, and nutrition, and I'm really into all of that. So I felt very healthy at the time. So I was very surprised that there was something wrong. And so it was a very stressful time for us. We didn't know if it was cancerous or, if it was benign or what it was all about, but it did cause, a pretty significant, reaction in my body. So it was definitely terrifying. But, I think we decided the best thing to do was just to get it out and to move on with my life, because I was young, I was in my 20s, and I had so many dreams and goals, and I just didn't want this to slow me down. So I ended up getting the surgery here in Boston, and it's just interesting how everything kind of like comes together. But, our company is based in Boston. I went to school in Boston, and here I am getting my brain tumor, worked on in Boston as well, which is great because they're amazing. But I was able to recover very quickly. And once we sort of went through all of that, my perspective on life really changed. I was ready. I felt like I could conquer anything that, I'd already been through childbirth. I had already been through this brain tumor. I just felt like kind of like a superwoman in that the fear kind of just dissipated. Like all I wanted to do was just do something that I was meant to do, find my purpose, just do something drastic. Just do something that was really going to be inspiring and something that could be scary, right? So my husband and I had a conversation. I have a marketing background. I had been working in corporate marketing, my whole career until the brain tumor happened. And my husband had been working in staffing, and he also came from a marketing background. So we were like, how can we combine like our talents and our skills and do something we really enjoyed doing? And we also like working together, as challenging as it could be. We enjoy, putting our heads together and collaborating and all of that. So we decided to open up a staffing agency, which is funny because at the time I didn't really know anything about recruiting or staffing or sales. I was not a, trained salesperson or anything like that. So I had to do a lot of learning on the fly. And I will say another reason why, this podcast is important to me is because the journey, you don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know, you might not have all the answers or necessarily know what you're doing. You might feel like you're diving into something too soon. But I will say that you do have all the tools, you need to succeed. They're there. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to sacrifice, how hard are you willing to work, and are you willing to step out of your comfort zone and just get after that fear that might be holding you back. So I had to do a lot of learning and just overcoming fear and doubt. Also, I would say doubt is a huge area that can hold people back. So I learned on the fly. I was kind of thrown into the fire. It was like sink or swim. And I feel like it's very much our environment now is you kind of draw that line in the sand and you say like, do I want to do this or do I not? And so I did go through those periods of time where I questioned myself. I questioned if I could do this. I questioned if I could. I remember even talking with candidates when I was just purely on the recruiting side and wondering, like, would I ever do sales, and saying, oh, yeah, I'm not really on the sales side. That's not what I'm doing. And that was part of my journey. I was trying to figure out, do I want to get into that side of things? And naturally it did happen, just because I think people cross your path and they, for whatever reason, they believe in you, right? And all it takes is one person to say, hey, like, I think you can do this, or, hey, you sound really good. Like, how long have you been doing this? And so there was definitely a client that kind of changed that for me. And we had a conversation, and, he'd reached out to me and I said, yeah, absolutely. I would love to help you find talent. And, he asked me how long I'd been doing it. And I said, oh, like, not too long, but, here's my story. And so, he was impressed, and he said, it sounds like you've been doing this for years. And I think it's interesting because although I didn't feel totally confident, he could sense the confidence in me. And so that's another area I want to touch on in this podcast too, is just helping women with that confidence. Because I think sometimes it can be very like daunting and kind of, I don't know, I think it's a typical topic that, women can struggle with, just feeling like, especially in this industry, staffing and recruiting traditionally has been like a male dominated industry. So sometimes, women coming into larger firms, right, feel like they need to prove themselves and feel like, am I qualified for this? Am I, it can be a really interesting topic, but I feel like here at Recruiter Boom, I mean, it's funny because we are predominantly female, driven. We have a lot of females that work in our company, so it's a lot of fun. It's very collaborative, and just really cool to see kind of everyone's different voice and how they contribute to the organization in different ways. But we are definitely we're diverse, we're open, we are constantly bringing in new talent. So it's an ongoing journey. But all of this has really helped me kind of grow into where I am today. And that's really, why I'm doing this podcast too, is everyone's at a certain point, and this is really, this point in your journey, you have to grow. You have to force yourself to step out of your comfort zone and get to your next level. So it really reminds me too, we actually just came back from our company's Success Club trip. It's our first ever trip that we've done to reward our top performers, in our company, on the sales and recruiting side, and just the business they've been able to, put together, and just what they've been able to do is incredibly inspiring. And in this podcast, I really want to talk about just the potential that people have, and drawing that out of somebody and out of yourself, and seeing what's really possible. And we've seen it firsthand, with a lot of these women. It's just incredible to be a part of. And even with myself, I technically earned my place on this trip as well, being able to, if I hadn't have stepped out of my comfort zone, I wouldn't have known what I was capable of. So if I hadn't have said, you know what, okay, I'll try the sales side and I'll dive into that. It's just, but as a business owner, I had to. It was like, do you want to succeed or do you not want to succeed? And I feel like that's what it comes down to, is constantly asking yourself that question: is where do I want to be, and where do I want to go? And if I want to stay in the same place, then I'm just going to do the same things I've always done. If I want to get to my next level, I'm going to force myself to step out of my comfort zone and do this thing, even though I'm terrified, or even though I might not be good at it, or I might sound horrible in the beginning. None of that matters, because you're never going to get to your next level if you don't just suck it up and do it. I'm so excited because this next episode we're going to have a very special guest, somebody that's been with me at Recruiter Boom for a couple of years now. She and I have worked alongside each other, watched each other grow, watched each other become successful, and really helped each other along that journey, both personally and professionally. We're going to be talking about, just balancing everything, how to organize your schedule, how to take care of yourself, just all these important topics that are just so important for your just career and your life, and just living the kind of life that, where you feel fulfilled and happy. And it's just so important to be able to put yourself first, even though it's difficult with everything that you're balancing and everything that's going on in your family and friends. So I'm very excited. We're going to be doing this as our next episode. So definitely tune in to our next episode and beyond. We're going to be talking about some really important topics. I can't wait to see you on the next episode, and get ready to pop off, queens.